batho ba rata ho sebediswa ke modimo wa ba batle modimo. Batho ba rata ho sebediswa ke modimo mara modimo yena ba bo batle. That's why ba khona lo sebeletsa modimo ka dikgotse. I want him. Yeah. I want him. I want God. I want God.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, a channel that is all about Christ. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. But if you're stopping by, please do consider subscribing and joining this family. But if you're part of the family, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming back. So guys, today before we get right into the video, I just want to say it's very, very disappointing how it's difficult to make these videos simply because the information is just not there. Like I search and search and I just can't find the information. Like it's just not there. Like the stories of our Christian heroes, we just don't have them. We just don't have these beautiful stories of this man of God who have done so good and so well for the kingdom. It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing. So and it makes me sad today because we're going to talk about Ralekholela, and I don't have much to say. I don't have much to say, not because he has not done so much, but because it's just not documented. It's just not there. For people who didn't live in his time, like us, I'm very young. So I don't know his history. I was not there. So I can't even read it somewhere. I can't even get it somewhere to know that, yo, this man has done so much. So this is probably going to be the shortest video ever since I started doing a Christian History Month, because I just didn't get the information that I wanted. I just didn't get the juicy and good stuff of his journey, and it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. So I just want to put it out there that sometimes if you see me doing a short video than what you expected, it's because I just couldn't get the information. I try on the pages, I try on internet, I try everything, and I just couldn't get the information. So I can't sit here and make up stuff. I want to say things to celebrate them exactly how the journey went. So for those who really love Ralekholela, who are maybe bazalwane bakhe or who follow him or who have been helped by his teachings, I'm sorry, but this is going to be the most shortest video ever because I just couldn't find the information. And it's not only him, even Gubab Gumbi, Gubab Bing, it's just not there. And it's very sad because we should know this history, especially as young people as we are growing up. We should know this history, that there are people that have lived before us in the journey, and they have done beautiful and wonderful things for the kingdom. We should be inspired by their stories. So it's really sad. It's really sad that the information is just not there, and it's not documented, and it's not just there to get and read for people that are to come, which is exactly why I make these videos, for abantwana bethu to know that there were men who walked with God with so much power, with so much boldness. So yeah, so it makes me sad. It really makes me sad when you just Google and just search and just try to find, and you just can't find the good and juicy things about someone's history, especially Christianity, especially here in South Africa, because I believe when you research about T.D. Jakes, you will get it. But here in South Africa, we just don't have people who are interested enough to document and write and go. If it was in my powers, actually, I would have done these videos with them. Like I would have interviewed them, but I don't have that ability. I would have loved to sit down with Ubab and hear it from him. I would have loved to sit with Ralekholela, hear it from him, Bambungo, to hear it from him, those who are still alive. I would have loved to hear the story from the horse's mouth and just document it for people to come to see it, because it's really sad. It's really sad that they've done so much and they have represented the kingdom so well, but it's just not documented. It's just not there as evidence of what they have done. So yeah, I just wanted to start by that, that this is going to be a short video. So I'm sorry to those that have suggested for me to talk about Ralekholela. I really apologize. I just couldn't find the information. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. We are talking about Prophet T.A. Ralekholela. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I hope I am. Today we are talking about him. We are celebrating him. He is a man that has so much wisdom. He is a teacher of the word. He has the gift of healing and deliverance. He's an author. He has done so many things. So Uba Ralekholela was ordained in 1982 to officially be a pastor under the Apostolic Faith Mission. And then the first church that was given to him by Apostolic Faith Mission was in Qwaqwa, so he pastored that church for the longest time. And then after that, that is when he started going with crusades all around South Africa and also internationally, like abroad. He went with the crusade for the longest time, just preaching the gospel and demonstrating amandla. He also is a man that is gifted with healing and deliverance. So he would demonstrate amandla. He would not only just preach the good news and telling people to come to Christ, but also he would deliver them. He would heal them. People would rise up from a wheelchair. People would see. He is a man that strives a lot on those gifts. Then later he then opened his ministry, which is called Gospel Fire Ministries International, which is he is a founder of that ministry. He is still representing God even in his ministry, using his wisdom. He preaches powerful messages. He has so much wisdom, but also he is still working for God using his gift, which is deliverance and healing. He is still healing people. He is still delivering people in his services. People are still being healed, are still not only receiving Christ, but also they're being delivered. People are still being held. There are testimonies of people saying, Uba Ralekholela prayed for me, and Uba Ralekholela prayed for me, and I was delivered. I got a job. He is signs and wonders follow him. He is a man that loves to demonstrate the power of God, and he also can preach like very powerfully, but also he also wants to demonstrate the power of God and the gift that God has laid in his life. He's also an author. He has written so many books where he shares his wisdom on different topics in the kingdom. So he has written so many books. He shares that wisdom through those books. He also has a foundation called the Ralekholela Foundation, and also in 2014 he opened a TV channel. I'm not sure if it's still working, but in 2014 he officially opened his channel for the church, for his ministry. He recently celebrated 40 years in the ministry. Guys, you know what? 40 years? Come on. 40 years in the ministry, and this is not to say it was not difficult. This is not to say it was not hard. This is not to say he didn't have tribulations and trials and storms. He did, but 40 years later he's still celebrating that I have been in ministry. 40 years I have been serving God. 40 years I have been representing the kingdom. 40 years, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? You look at him, he's still standing. He still has a big church. He has a big following. People are still being helped by his ministry. People are still being healed through him. People are still being delivered through him. People are still coming to Christ through him. People are still getting his wisdom through his books. He is a man that has served God for 40 years, but he's still standing. He's still preaching the word. He's still going even internationally to represent the kingdom. And we just celebrate him. We celebrate him. As much as I don't have much to say about him, but this is just to put it out there that we celebrate him. We celebrate that this 40 years, 40 years of him being in full-time ministry, 40 years of him representing us as a Christian, 40 years of preaching the true gospel, 40 years of allowing God to use him. We just celebrate him. We thank God for the gift that is upon his life. We thank God of all the healing, the miracle, the deliverance that have come through him. We thank God for just all these years, and we still appreciate the gift that is upon his life as much as but we appreciate men that have stood the test of time, men that have faced so much, men that are counting years in the ministry but are still standing, are still preaching the true gospel. We appreciate that, and that is just so beautiful. Earlier this year, they released a documentary about his story. They call it The Story Behind the Glory. I tried to find that. I think they didn't post it anyway. I wanted to watch that because I think this way I would have gotten to know him better. I would have gotten so much information about him. But there is a documentary that is called The Story Behind the Glory, where he just tells his story, his journey in the ministry, the hardships, the persecutions. And I am happy for people who were able to attend that event. I really wish they can release that documentary so that we can all watch and be inspired. So yeah, that is it from me, Ralekholela. I hope you're inspired, even if I don't have a lot to share about him. I hope you're inspired. I hope you were pushed. 40 years in ministry, that alone should be written somewhere. There was a man that served God for 40 years that dedicated his life 40 years in ministry to serve God. That is beautiful. That should be celebrated. So yeah, this is the end of the Christian History Month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired. I hope you share these videos with other people, because we really need to store and have these stories in hand for us to encourage one another, for us to know that there were men before us that left a beautiful legacy for us to follow, that represented the kingdom so well, that represented us so well. So I really hope you share these videos with other people. I hope you really, guys, are taking this in and are soaking it in, especially if you are called, if you have a calling, if you're a young men and women of God that are still coming up. This is just to inspire you to say you can do it. It is doable. If Baba Ralekholela, if Baba Gumi did it, you can do it. It's doable. You can count also 50 years serving God. It is doable, even with the storms and trials that are happening, but it is doable. So I hope you're inspired. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I hope they push you to also go and search and research more so that you are inspired. And also, please, you can comment down below, suggest the other men of God that you want me to talk about, that you want us to celebrate. Comment down below suggestions, guys. We're going to talk about them next year when we come back. So yeah, suggestions. I'm going to do the research because I love you like that. So suggest the name, give me the names. I'm going to do the research, and then we are going to come here and celebrate it. Another man of God that has done beautiful things in the kingdom. So thank you so much for watching. Until I see you next time, I love you so much for watching, but Jesus loves you more. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye.